Good morning. It's Sunday, April 6th. And once again, I want to talk about how the U.S. has come to the aid of Israel. And it has come to the aid of Israel by overcoming the wishes of one of our great U.S. senators. And I'm talking about Bernie Sanders, who I always admire as a senator. But Bernie Sanders has made efforts to block weapons sales to Israel. And his efforts for the second time have been crushed in the U.S. Senate. I must give those senators all the credit in the world, because they recognize the importance of Israel in that section of the universe, as well as the fact that the 10 million or so civilians who live in that country are always in danger. And so we, as a national entity, are responsible for taking care of our allies to some extent. And there is no other ally in that part of the world that is more valuable and more faithful than Israel. So I do not understand Bernie's rationality to obstruct the sale of weapons to Israel. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it marks the second time that Sanders has tried to formally obstruct support for Israel's defense capabilities. Does he want those 10 million people sitting out there naked for their enemies? Is that what he wants? He's worried about the destruction of the Gazans and not worried about the destruction of one of the world's smallest populations. So Bernie just watched his latest attempt to block American weapons sales to Israel get crushed by an overwhelming bipartisan majority in the Senate. On Thursday, Bernie forced his votes. He forced votes on two resolutions designed to block the sale of 2,000-pound bombs worth $2 billion and a separate packet of ammunition and precision guidance systems valued at about $6.75 billion. And this wasn't even a close vote. These votes failed spectacularly in the Senate, with the first resolution going down 15 against and 82 for, and the second going down 15 against and 83 for. Those are amazing when you look at it. It's almost like 100% majority are in favor of supporting Israel. And I am glad to see that. And prior to the vote, Sanders once again decried Israel's genocide in Gaza. Well, Israel's genocide in Gaza is protecting themselves. Why can't the Gazans, as a people, stand up in defense of Israel or be neutral? They're not. Every one of those Gazans is against Israel. If you watch the October 7th videos, you saw not only the enemy that attacked with weapons, but you saw children lined up at the fence throwing rocks, etc. The Gazans hate Israel. Almost 90% for certain. So why? Why would we want to support them in any way, shape, or form if Israel is our major ally in that region? And he said, as bad as the last year and a half has been, at least Israel let some, but not enough, some aid to get through. Well, why should they let any aid get through? Why don't these people step up and recognize the fact that Israel is a great nation and they belong in that region. They were born and bred in that region. They need to be supported. So again, Sanders said it's unthinkable that for 31 days and counting, no aid has gotten to the Gazan people. Nothing, no food, no water, no medicine, no fuel for over a month. Whose fault is that? It's their fault because they are the enemy. They would do anything to destroy Israel. So why is Bernie Sanders standing up? Because he thinks incorrectly from time to time. His left-leaning thoughts have driven him into some terrible situation. And pro-Hamas lobbying organizations were quick to condemn the Senate's decision. So when you have pro-Hamas people on your side, you are not thinking properly. And they are claiming that the U.S. is funding genocide, paid for by U.S. tax dollars. We are not promoting genocide. We are protecting one of our nation, one of the place where there are great people fighting for democracy, a nation that stands with the U.S. So how can these people look at that and think that Palestinian rights are more important than the rights of the Israelis? And if I look at this closely, I believe that there's a tinge, and maybe more than a tinge, of anti-Semitism in these thinking of these people. I believe there are many that will believe that the Jews should be disappeared from this earth, and the U.S. military, the funding, and one of these, and another one of these idiots come out and said something like U.S. military funding for Israel's war crimes is not in the interest of the American people. And yet our representatives today voted to continue aiding and abetting human rights violations of the Palestinian people. Well, those Palestinian people would kill Jews as fast as they could count them. So this is the second time that Bernie Sanders has failed. And that's good for Israel. It's good for the world to see that the U.S. is standing strong in Israel's favor. So let's hope that Bernie Sanders has learned his lesson, and let's hope that all of those people that think like him have learned their lesson too. The United States is standing with Israel because they are our lone ally in that region, and they are the only people in that region that are fighting for democracy. So I leave you with those unpleasant thoughts this morning. Have a great day. Bye.